back. Welcome in to the Lion's Share Podcast, training camp and preseason preview. We've already got a ton of quotes from Dan, but this was the strongest one. We don't live off reputation. We live off work. We love that. It's quote season from Dan Campbell. It is 5 more Sundays until NFL football regular season. 42 days until the opener versus Stafford and the Rams back at home in Ford Field. We have just 11 days between us and the first preseason opener for the Lions. Obviously, the Hall of Fame game here coming up this week, and the Lions will be hitting joint practices here soon with the Giants as well. It is fitting that we are entering the season of Leo for you horoscopers out there, because that is the Lion. And so it's fitting that we're talking about the Lions and we're talking about their training camp and a little bit of a preseason preview today with the boys as always. So I'm here with the kickball legend, the guy in the 10th spot in his kickball league, and the full-time father as always. So boys, I wanted to open it up to you all. What would you say is your favorite part about the training camp season? I'll go to you, Mr. Kickball, first.
Well, typically training camp, you're watching Hard Knocks. It's about those fringe guys, those storylines. What are they going to develop into? Who's going to be the guys that get sent down to the practice squad inevitably? And I think that's where it's at for me this year because the Lions have so much depth. It's one of the few times that you see a Lions team come in. This is probably the best Lions team we've seen, but they got a lot of depth this year. How many O-linemen are they going to keep? How many running backs are they going to bring along? Is Craig going to be with us this year? Where's it going to fall? So those are the things I'm looking forward to.
I'm probably playing to appease the other dads out there, but I do like that. Seems like one of the only times of the season before they get to work that all the families get to show up. You see the kids come out. It's just kind of more of a family-friendly atmosphere, even though guys are literally competing for their livelihood out there. So that's cool that the vets get to bring those guys out, and for the people that are trying, or the guys that are trying to make the team, their families get to see them compete on a daily basis. That's probably my favorite part.
Yes, just a couple days ago they opened it up to the fans, and training camp looking a little different this year for the Lions. They finally spent some money.
Looking hot.
It's looking hot. Is it hot up there in the mitten?
I just meant like it's looking hot because of the stuff you're about to talk about. But yes, I believe it's also a little warm up there.
I suppose I'm the only one that can really truly speak to it. But yeah, I mean, it's been all right. It's been perfect vegetable weather though. We've been getting a lot of rain at night, hot during the days. We've been going into a little warm spurt as of late though. So buckle in, get those plants watered.
Okay, so are you growing vegetables, or you're saying like you've been a couch potato?
Both true statements. I got one pepper plant.
What kind of pepper?
He's asking.
Oh my goodness! Lineman in action has to spin around.
I know it's warm. I know it's a hot pepper, one of them warm ones. It starts with an S. That's what I'm getting from my
Serrano
in the back. That's it. That's the one.
Oh wow! I didn't know you were a pepper expert, Mitch.
Oh, I love it. You know what I like? I like the Serranos. I like Anaheims a lot too, because Anaheims kind of give you that. Serranos and Poblanos and Anaheims kind of give you that and they might be in the same family. Someone look that up. They kind of give you that jalapeno taste, but they're not going to singe your mustache off every time you eat one.
Yeah, this one's a little bit bigger. He's a little bit of a fat boy, but he's not ready. Got a couple buds, but the little tiger lion Simon, he did nibble at a few leaves, stunted its growth a little early, so we've been battling.
Last statement on peppers, I think Serranos are actually hotter. Serranos are the little guys. I'm confusing them. I like the Anaheims because they're not as hot as jalapenos, but Serranos I think are, to Andrew's point, I think they're supposed to be little.
Ooh, I think we did Serranos last year then. I think I'm still wrong because these are big fat ones, but not like green peppers. They're hot still.
Are you sure it's not a Poblano?
That might be it, dude. We lost the tag, man.
I'm just trying to grow. Chucking seeds around back there?
I'm just trying to grow. I got one plant. One lonely plant just trying to grow, man. Just trying to live. I gave up on it. Simon
the
ate it.
Lions' new training camp bleachers are as hot as a serrano pepper. Statement ended.
There you go.
Let's get out of
There
the
you
pepper
have it,
talk.
yeah. But you know what? They're not hot anymore because there's an awning. There's a cover. They've got coverage over top of the bleachers now for the fans. The VIP tent, at least. Sponsored by Meyer Performance Center in Allen Park. Ready for the most anticipated camp in my 16 years covering the team, from Tim Twentyman there. But yeah, big ass podium. Dan said this thing is huge. It's a Meyer Performance.
Yeah, what's the story? It looks like he's trying to give his statements behind a transformer from the movies.
Yeah, it's huge. Folks, if you haven't seen it, look it up. It is massive. I'm not sure why it's such a great scale. The logo is like a standard size, but the podium itself is just massive.
Mitch,
So I don't know what Meyer had going.
that's the first reference I've heard to the Transformer statement. I'm forever calling that podium Optimus Prime.
Yes. We have to. Let's workshop that. Something with Optimus, but it's like something with podium. We can figure that out. Podium Prime.
Tune in on our next episode.
There you go. Yeah, new bleachers with a roof, new performance center, new podium, all sponsored by Meyer. Things are looking a lot better there for the fans and the team alike. And boys, Andrew.
I'm going to throw out a bold statement here, and you guys can make the trip down if you'd like to. If we, even if we visit a Super Bowl this year, I'm going to go to training camp next year. We're going to carve out a day or two. We're going.
Woo!
As a training camp attendee once upon a time with my father, I can say it's a good time. And that was with the old regime. So I can only imagine of what it's like now, because it was fun. You know, you drive down, it's free. You park over like in the Ford parking lot where like the headquarters of Ford, and they bus you over. If that's still the process, I don't know. Because there's no on-site parking except for obviously for the players. There's not like a ton of parking for fans. So they bus you in. It's all free. And then if you're a season ticket holder, you get in a little bit earlier. I think you get it like 3 days early or something like that. You get a bonus. And I think you get to sit under the awning in the VIP section there, and you get to enjoy some shade. So you're not burning your bottoms on the bleachers, as Mitch alluded to. But yeah, it's a good time. And it's just, it gets you in the mood for football. You might see some fights. You might get some autographs if that's your kind of thing. Obviously, more so geared towards the kids, but you know, some adults getting their autographs as well when I was there. That was interesting. But yeah, I think for me, and I'm sure you guys would probably echo this, and a lot of the writers for the Lions have said similar things, right? Is just, boy, does it feel different this year. You could kind of feel it last year, like, okay, they've got some guys in place. The positive vibes are there. The energy's there. But this year, it really seems like these guys are ready to go to business, or ready to go to work, and strictly business, should say that. How do you guys feel? Like, do you feel like, Mitch, I'll steal your word here, palpable. Do you feel like the confidence brewing in Allen Park is just palpable?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of goes to the poll from last week, or a couple weeks ago, I'm sorry, in the last episode. I feel like this is the year. I mean, it's just they had some glaring issues. I actually watched a great video the other day of like, what's the ceiling and what's the floor, and I think NFL.com, and it talked about how like they maybe had one weakness on offense, and it was kind of Jonah Jackson and just the unreliability there. They addressed that. Now, obviously, you could go on and say offensive line depth, and you could poke holes, but like their offensive starting unit is incredible. So no issues there. And the big issue was pass rush and secondary. Well, I don't think secondary is an issue anymore. And Houston was barely healthy last year. Now you've got Reeder, Aleem, Hutch, healthy Houston. Show me the weakness. And it sounds like Jack Campbell is a new person, like a white chocolate Ray Lewis. So that would be great.
Yeah, I'll say to that point, Mitch, you really got to search for an area. You can be nitpicky and find weaknesses, but overall, seems pretty good. Andrew, I wanted to ask you this because I know you and I are kind of on the same wavelength. We're more in the camp of we like to fly under the radar, kind of like they were last season. The expectations weren't there. There was expectations maybe they win the North, maybe they make a playoff appearance, but certainly not making it to the NFC Championship. How do you feel now with the tables kind of turning, with everybody, several people taking the Lions to make it to the Super Bowl or at least go far in these playoffs? How do you feel with them in the spotlight and the media kind of firestorm that's going on with the Lions?
Well, it's one of those situations where every team's going to give you their best game, whereas in years past, we're playing the Lions, we can maybe slack off, and the Lions can pick off a team or two here that they shouldn't have beaten. I think that's what the media was trying to say last year when week 1 when they beat the Chiefs too, right? And the Chiefs have known it for a few years. The Patriots knew it for a long time. When you're the best team out there, you're going to get everybody's best game. And we're going to see it week 1 with the Rams. It's the last team that they saw last year is the Lions. They kicked them out of the playoffs and ended their season. So if you think they haven't been thinking about that all off season, you're wrong. So I think they're built for that. And kind of like Jack Campbell, you heard him in the media talking about how they wanted to be a top 10 defense. And he says, top 10, like what's wrong with being number 1, So I think they're built for something like that. And I think they're ready to handle a lot of people's best games.
For sure. Here's the downside to some of these training camps. Yeah, obviously you're going to have injuries, you're going to have fights, you're going to have things like that. Badgley, the money badger from last year, is going to be out for the year. Extended time injury. That means Bates is going to be the kicker, presumably at this point. I think he went 5 for 5 the other day, but Saturday was a rough one for the old boy. He missed a couple long ones, including a 55 and a 45-yarder, and then followed it up with a make from 42. We touched on this a little bit last episode, guys, but what's your confidence level with the fella from the UFL, Bates here? Do we feel pretty confident in what he's going to bring, even with some struggles on Saturday?
I feel good about it. That's just nerves, right? Like, I think it's one thing to go out there in the UFL, but you could tell, obviously, it's like, hey, all of a sudden you're the guy everyone's counting on. He'll settle in. I think Phipp's going to do a great job getting him to relax a little bit, and he'll be exactly what they need him to be. All of a sudden, it's like, you give Dan something to think about in those 4th down situations, and it's not always going to be 4 down territory. And you got to scheme them up differently. All of a sudden, there's a threat 50 and out for the Lions to kick a field goal and take some points. So I think he'll settle in. He'll be a weapon. I'm confident he'll get there.
You got any thoughts, Andrew?
I'm not too worried about it. A couple kicks here and there. I was trying to look up, and I was trying to get his name right, and I think I got his last name wrong. The other guy they're bringing on from the USFL, I'm more eager to hear about him. I'm not worried about Bates in the slightest. I think he's an improvement over Badgley, and I was a fan of the Money Badger. But I think he's just going to be more reliable from the long balls. He may not go 99 out of 100 from 50 and in like Badger was going to do. But he's going to give us those opportunities like Mitch is saying, and the opportunity to end in ice games, right? When you tack another 3 points on and really just demoralize another team. But like I said, I'm more excited about the other USFL guy coming in, the D end. I think, like I said, I think it's Matthew Betts.
Yeah. He was the CFL, Canadian League, not the UFL. So the other league.
That's why I'm getting it wrong. Okay, that's who I'm very excited to see.
You bring up a great point, though. Mitch, you touched about defensive line depth. It's certainly new and improved. You've got guys coming like Betts, but also Davenport. Can't forget about Davenport as well, the other free agent from this year. So interesting to see who comes out week 1 in as far as what the 4 is going to be and how much substitution you have on that defensive line. But to your point, Andrew, about Betts, man, everything that you hear about the guy is super positive. And it's hard to make out any expectations for somebody that didn't play at this level his whole career and is making that transition. You got to imagine there's a level of not concern, but a transition there to go from one speed to the NFL speed, no quicker than the NFL. So, I mean, I look forward to it. I mean, we don't know what Houston's going to be. We don't know Davenport, and we don't know Betts. So we'll see. By the end of the year, we'll probably have a good picture of what this team is. Defensive line is specifically.
Have you heard any word from like those? I know Davenport really isn't practicing, but the other two guys, have you heard much? I've seen a couple of videos from Aiden, but I really haven't seen those guys or heard anything from them from this camp.
I haven't really. Now that you bring it up, I've heard a little bit about Levi Onwuzurike, getting some more reps according to Woodward Sports. Got a tweet here that I can pull up. What is it? It said, oh, that's not it. It's the next one. My bad. It's also from Woodward Sports, though. Levi was taking snaps as a first-team edge rusher opposite Agent Hutchinson. So who knows? They may be plugging him in there, and he could have an official role on this defense, which he hasn't had this whole time he's been with the Lions. But to your point about what you are hearing, and I'm sure it's similar to what you guys are hearing a lot about the secondary, Terrion Arnold and Rakestraw, apparently BFFs at this point, getting up and getting to the facility at 6 a.m., doing breakfast together, doing workouts together. I think it's too early to say anything about them, but I'm hearing a lot of positive things. I'm hearing from the media that, this could be the 1-2 cornerback punch of the future. 2 young guys, 2 rookies coming in this year could be long-term Lions in that defensive backfield, which hasn't had an identity in a while, right? Not since Slay, really. But yeah, Mitch,
that was
have you heard
what I was
anything
going to say. Slay was probably the last one.
I really haven't heard much from the defensive line.
It's fairly quiet. I mean, I feel like it's not. I don't know. It's just not like it was. I would say as strong as we think the secondary is going to be, there are rookies. There's a ton of new guys. I mean, you got DJ Reader on the D line, who's a proven talent. So there's not a ton of drama to be had from the D line or the linebacking core. The secondary, it's just like how high can they fly? And I think that's young and they're fun. You've got a mix of vets that have proven it, young guys out of the draft. So, and secondary guys are like wide receivers of the defense. They have personalities. So you're going to hear more and see more from those guys than you are from the big boys down low.
For sure. How about, I'm sure you guys saw the JMO is, I think unanimously, I'm hearing the most positivity about JMO. Mitch, you had mentioned that he maybe put on a few pounds, right? Looking a little thicker out there, getting deep down the field. We've had numerous clips of him succeeding, but also puking, apparently day one, or not day one, but one of the days, throwing up out there, went right back to it. Puked mid-stride after finishing a touchdown catch, took a brief knee, wiped off the puke, and got right back to work. So hearing a lot about him, and I guess just the energy, the fan favorite, fans being there now, loving every time JMO hits the field, and sounds like maybe actually developing into the person, the player, the wide receiver that we think he can be. What have you guys heard about from JMO besides what I just mentioned, of course?
I don't think I've heard anything else other than DC basically was just like, I don't care how much he throws up if he keeps doing what he's doing. I think that's kind of enough said for everybody.
Yeah, we've got the clip. We've got the deep shot right here. I mean, look at the separation. That's on Arnold and somebody else. Is that Iffy?
Probably Vildor.
Oh, dude, not Kindle. That ain't Kindle.
I don't know. Pretty short.
I think number 6. That's Iffy, right?
Couldn't tell. I don't know. Just, I mean, I would prepare yourself, everybody. Terrion is going to get burnt deep a few times this year. Good handful.
Yeah, it's just gonna happen. All we can hope is that it doesn't happen at the frequency that it did last year with Scammy Sutton, Vildor, and all the others that had to fill in.
No, it's nice to have Amon-Ra in the building. You see it from receiver, too. I mean, I'm sure JMO takes after him. I'm sure he's got a jugs machine now. I'm sure he's catching tons of passes daily. on top of practice. With that, the bigger question mark for me outside of those two is DPJ. What is he gonna be, and is it gonna be his year? Because I feel like sky's the limit for that guy right now.
Iron sharpens iron. I'll just touch on your point about St. Brown. It's great to have him as a role model there and competition too. Competition between him, that's good. That breeds only good things, I think. But Andrew, you bring up a good point. I wanted to give you all the depth chart as it stands right now. Obviously, we don't have the official depth chart until week 1 of the preseason. We won't have that, but we have kind of the estimation and what it was based off of last year, of course. So obviously, you got St. Brown, your wide receiver 1. Khalif Raymond and Jameson Williams out there, the top 3. And then from there, it's kind of shaky. I mean, you got a pretty stable top 3 right there. And then from there, it falls off kind of quickly. You've got Antoine Green, the rookie. Well, not the rookie, the sophomore, I guess, the rookie from last year. DPJ, who you just alluded to, Andrew. And then Tom Kennedy, who you guys thought wasn't going to make the team. But I ask you, if they take 6.
Not going to make the team.
I don't know. Then you got that Fountain guy who they signed last year and then got hurt, I think, from the Jets, maybe. And then Maurice Alexander, who was pretty prolific in the return game, but on and off the practice squad. So how do you guys feel about that? Obviously, we feel strong about the top 3. Khalif Raymond, not super prolific, but St. Brown and Williams, pretty strong, right? But then from there, like, do you guys trust wide receiver 4, DPJ?
I'm thinking it's. I was just reading it's between DPJ and Green. Green might break out and kind of swipe that spot. I think. I can't. Ben, that doesn't make you happy. Who was that, Ben? I feel like you're a Green guy. Is that from last year? Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm a believer in DPJ. I've seen I like it because I've seen it from DPJ, and obviously, like, a veteran presence wouldn't be the worst thing of all time, even though it feels like St. Brown has been there forever and he just got a Brinks truck. But I mean, they'll keep both those guys. And hey, if it's kind of like a mystery, like, you can use those guys almost like a D-line rotation and they're both going to be weapons, even better.
I mean, depending on who it's going to be, it's really going to depend on how many guys they take, probably at offensive line, and where they're going to leave that depth. But I think they would rather have it be Antoine, sheerly for the height. I think he's 6'2", 6'3", somewhere in there. Ben, correct me if I'm wrong. And DPJ, I think, is around 6 foot. I mean, just what I know from DPJ, though, I know he can get both his feet in bounds. He's really good at that. And he reminds me a lot of Josh Reynolds. So kind of that safety blanket that it was for Jared Goff. He reminds me of him, and kind of like in the routes he runs and everything. But obviously he's not the same guy. So I think the sky's the limits for him, but he's going to have to seize those opportunities.
Seize the day. DPJ, just kind of iffy on him right now. Last year, just was waiting for him to show up, and he just really didn't show up. And I'm hoping that a full offseason with Goff and this offense can bring him maybe back to those levels that we've seen him be at. But Antoine Green was my hopeful breakout player last year. That didn't really materialize. However, maybe this is the year. I think the ceiling's probably higher with Green. I think he's got more potential than DPJ. You kind of know what you're going to get out of him. However, I don't know. I don't know what this team wants. Mitch, you brought up a great point about the veteran leadership. At this point, it's a pretty young room. So there's value there as well. What about the backup quarterback situation, Andrew? This is something you want to talk about last episode. You had mentioned the longtime line had mentioned this to you. In the past, we've seen the Lions go with 3 quarterbacks almost always, and that's more so just for insurance, right? But a lot of teams just go with the 2. As it stands right now, of course, on this here Lions team, they've got Goff at the 1, of course, no doubt there, and then you got Hendon backing him up in the 2 slot. And then who could forget about Sudfeld? Still in the building, boys. Still here. Does still exist. But presumably, you guys think it's gonna be Goff and Hendon and no one else, right? You don't see a world where they bring a third on, do you?
Boy, I hope not. But from what you hear, Nate is having a couple good days in training camp. It sounds like he's going to push Hendon for that spot. I think ultimately it's going to be Jared and Hendon, with Sudfield traveling and more of like a coach aspect, right? And he's going to be there as more of a voice for Hendon. I think it's his job to lose.
You will see, right? I mean, Hendon's kind of a no risk. Like, he was taken mid-round of the draft, doesn't cost a lot of money. I think we were all hopeful that he was going to be like the no doubter, like maybe next guy. But at this point, by the time Goff's contract is up and the franchise is ready to move on, it's not like Hooker's much younger at all. So we'll see. Just may the best man win. Obviously, Hooker would be great because I think it's exciting. We're familiar with Sudsy Dudsy, but whoever can get the job done. Who was Sean Hill? If we can get some Sean Hill action when Stafford went out and Sean Hill came in and was like, oh shit, this dude can actually like win us some games, that would be incredible.
Oh, who could forget Sean Hill, the thick boy?
That's a big boy out there taking snaps.
He was. He had an arm though, like
real Brock Wright.
Not the most accurate quarterback, but
he could throw.
Yeah,
I said a real Brock Wright out there.
Yeah. Speaking of thick boys, you guys see old Corey Schlesinger was at training camp this week? Remember that name?
Good God. I saw Corey Schlesinger play a game of charity basketball in the Mount Pleasant High School gym one time. It looked like he was trying to dribble the basketball to the core of the earth.
I think he was the guy that he used to like bend face masks for fun. Like that's what he did in his free time. He would like, I don't know, destroy face mask. What the hell was Corey doing up in Mount Pleasant?
It was like a celebrity charity basketball game. I think there was like a few Lions, and if it tells you anything, he's the only player I remember going. So it was like Corey Schlesinger and then just like a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
And his like, he's so squatty, but I think his traps almost touch the rims.
Disgusting. What a freak of a man. Still looks similar build to what he used to be in present day.
Corey Schlesinger was Brock Lesnar before Brock Lesnar was Brock Lesnar.
Yes, valid. You see who else was there too? Old Joik Bell. There's yeah. Who could forget? In the stands, jumping in the stands? Probably one of the better celebrations. Short-lived career there in Detroit. I think wasn't he the one that was like he was like a concessions guy for a minute there at
something, yeah, because he went to Wayne State. You know what though? That's when him and Reggie Bush were lighting it up.
The Bell and Bush combo, yeah.
Yep, those were good times.
Oh, good. Were they good times though?
Those were winning seasons. Those
True.
were playoff contending seasons.
True. It's weird to think about that now with the team they got. So you guys feel good about Hendon? And then nobody else, you guys feel comfortable, like, with Hendon limited action. Hopefully in this preseason, we'll see him more, and then would you feel better about it after you see some snaps from him this preseason?
Do you trust Nate Sudfield more?
No, God, no.
Okay, well, that's case closed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, I want it, personally, I want it to be Hooker, but I don't really, again, number one, Goff has proven, knock on wood, to be pretty durable. But two, like, who's going to give us the best chance? That's what I don't really care who else it is. Hopefully it's Hooker, but personal, I think everybody says that. Everyone agrees, but it is who it is.
And Ben, what do you always say? What do you need from a backup quarterback?
Just to not make mistakes. Just be
the Cooper Rush.
What's the word? The crush.
Cooper Rush.
Yeah. Just be what did we call him?
Facilitator.
Yeah. No.
Is that it? Couldn't remember. Something like that. But
God, why can't I remember it?
I think with the offensive line that they're going to roll out, I think Hendon Hooker can figure it out.
Yeah, like
be good enough to win, I mean, be good enough.
Just don't make mistakes. Play to your strengths. Use your weapons. and don't get yourself into bad situations, and don't leave your defense out to dry by throwing picks in bad spots. I mean, it's really
Kind of the
simple.
nice thing, right? For whoever wins the job, it's like, you see a lot of guys come in as backups, and it hinders the offense right away, right? Because the deep shots are pretty much always gone.
Yeah.
But that's not really what the Lions offense is predicated on. You get someone that comes in, Hooker or Nate, and you got Amon-Ra, Laporta, Gibbs. Like, the weapons are still there. So I'm not worried about it.
Still trying to think of that word, Andrew. God damn it. That was, we used that word
That
a
wasn't
lot.
it.
Yeah. No, that wasn't. How about the fights? Obviously, every year there's fights. Did you guys see that old Dan Skipper, I think it was, getting into it with Derek Barnes? Why the hell am I saying Brooks?
I feel like
Barnes.
if you had to put odds on like a Lions player to get into preseason, it was like Dan Skipper. It would be up there.
Did you see the I think it was Colton Pouncey, the writer there for the Lions, had a tweet something like Dan Skipper in the middle of his, like, what seems to be his 12th fight of the training camp, and Dan Skipper responded and basically told him fake news. So that was interesting. But I guess Barnes and Skipper have squashed the beef after the fight. I think the fight was yesterday.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, right. Dan Skipper, one of those fringe guys that you just don't know, is he going to make the team or not? I mean,
he'll make the team.
Yeah, are we sure?
Did you hear the confidence in my voice?
I did. I'm just trying to look where he falls on this depth chart even.
In the end zone.
Yeah, true. I mean, I guess it depends on what the team feels about that new draft pick, Giovanni Manu, right?
And speaking of offensive line, Taylor Decker's contract?
Yeah, Taylor Decker's contract, which I don't know about you guys, but I kind of forgot about until it was brought up in his little, I don't know, press conference media appearance. I kind of forgot about Taylor Decker getting paid, but it's coming.
It's weird because it feels like he just got a big contract not long ago. But you know what? That's another one I'm just not worried about because he already came out and said he would take a hometown discount. So I think he will get adequately paid. And obviously he had some struggles last year, turned it on in the playoffs. Yeah, I think it'll be suitable for him and the team.
That's your left tackle. Of course he's getting paid. What I think what he's trying to figure out is how long this deal really is. I'm sure the Lions want to extend him 2 and he wants 4. Yeah,
I bet they'll give him 4. But if you're Decker, if you're Holmes, and I'm throwing a number out there, so please don't. This is not like a certified thing. If Decker's looking for 2 years, $30 million a year, which I know is absurd. Let's call it 2 years, $20 million a year. I don't know, whatever. And you can say, all right, well, what if we give you 4 years, $15 million a year? So win-win for everybody.
Right.
Unless he doesn't play the last 2 years because he's hurt.
Unless you're a hater.
I'm just saying, you drafted his heir apparent in Giovanni Manu.
What's Simon have to say? I heard that meow. Yeah, I mean, Taylor Decker, 30 years old, will be 31 here in about 3 weeks. Still relatively
not that
young
old,
football
though,
years.
For offensive linemen.
Yeah. I don't know. Or no,
well, front load it. Give him a 4-year deal and make the last 2 worth nothing. Let him opt out if he wants.
Right. I mean, like you said, he's been here his whole career. Don't see why not. Taking a hometown discount, that is. Yeah, you guys want to talk about I don't really even think this is important. The Lions in the top 100. The NFL top 100 has come out and is coming out. I think they're through 40, through 60, up to number 40. Laporta was at 80, Jared Goff at 48, and Aiden Hutchinson right in front of him at 47. I'm sure Penei Sewell is going to be on there. He's got to be. And probably St. Brown as well. Gibbs, no, probably not. But Leads me right into our next thing, which is topic. Andrew, shout out to Andrew for bringing this up. You asked us in the group chat over under on how many Lions get drafted in. I put free agency, but I meant to say fantasy football here in the notes here. Notoriously in the past, a few Lions would get selected, but I think I would put it about 5. I don't know what do you guys.
You put the line at 5. Give us a hook. Do you want 4.5 or 5.5? Don't be a coward.
I think it would be.
Seems like your guess is 5.
I think it would. No, I had a reason behind it. I guess I would say 5.5 because I was thinking Laporta, St. Brown.
No.
Sorry.
Let us answer. What's wrong with you?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I said,
Andrew,
if
go
that
ahead.
line's 4.5, you hammer the over.
Yeah.
I think 5 of them, no question, get drafted, and there's a 6th that hangs out there. I think the line falls at 5.5.
Oof.
Oh,
Come
no.
on, Mr. Founder. What's happening?
Oh, no.
Oh, he's
Oh,
coming
you
back.
cut out, my man.
Oh, man, I thought you boys lost. Ran away.
Oh, wait. I thought he cut out and went right into a mute monster.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Delayed, but I think
Okay, do you want to go?
I said 4.5. If it's 4.5, you hammer the over. I think there's 5 no doubters that are going to get drafted in fantasy, and there's a 6 that just maybe it just depending on the league. So I'd put it at 5.5.
God, I think 5 is the perfect line. Now we'll go with Gibbs, Laporta, St. Brown. Those are first 3 rounds. So there's no doubters right there. First 2 rounds probably.
Mm-hmm. Montgomery's
J-Mo.
the maybe for me. I don't know if he makes it.
Oh, really? I think Montgomery's going to get scooped for that vulture for Gibbs.
Okay.
And then I think J-Mo's kind of a flyer. I get kind of hung up right there.
Goff.
Man,
Everybody needs a quarterback.
I'm not drafting Goff.
Everybody needs a quarterback. That was my thought. Yeah. He's a top 10 quarterback to me.
He might be a top 10 quarterback, but I don't know if he's a top 10 fantasy quarterback.
Yeah, he's like a 16-pointer to 12 to 16-pointer in fantasy, and he's steady Eddie. But to me, those are the guys that you just scoop him up later. He's hanging out there. You're looking at that fringe wide receiver, and you're like, no, I need a QB2. The other one, the silent pick, I was also thinking is their defense might do numbers this year, and then Jake Bates, who's to say what he does.
Yeah, I would say defense if their schedule wasn't so tough.
Fair enough, but they are inside quite a bit. If that skews any of the Lions listeners, all of them.
I feel like that would go work against a defense, though.
Why is that? Because it's louder?
Well, you're outside. You get outside later in the season, and you get the elements.
Yeah, slippery balls.
Well, what's your quick segue to fantasy? What's my personal fantasy strategy on defense? Unless you have that top unit, because there's always that top unit every year that gets 20 points per week. I'm a week-to-week guy.
Oh, yeah.
Who's playing the Panthers? That's who I want.
Oh, yeah. Every single time. Yeah. Every single time. Sometimes, too, you've got a really good defense, but a team's going against it's the Chiefs against the Panthers. Let me give me those ones.
I think the best one last year was you wanted the Jets defense, but you also wanted whoever the Jets were playing against. The Jets were just the perfect map.
Yes, that was rare last year.
Shall we?
Speaking of Jets,
put a line out.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, do you guys see
this quick?
Yeah, go. Go.
Let me hit this quick. Let me hit it. Do we want to hit them with the Spotify poll and put an over under on a number? Or do you want to do 5.5 for the listeners and they can sound off in the
it was my suggestion to put the hook on there. I think put it at 5 and see where everybody lands.
Okay,
that's fair.
I think 4.5 is an over. To me, 5.5 is an under.
It's an under.
I think 5 is perfect.
Yeah,
really.
I don't think Goff is going to get that much love.
See, and I think Goff is an auto. It's Montgomery for me.
And I would even say Jameson a bit of a question mark.
If you're not mine.
Yeah, if you're not a Detroit Lions fan who's keeping up on JMO in training camp, there's that really fast guy that gets one touch a game.
I'm severely biased. He was also a no-doubter for me.
Yeah, no, that would have been my sixth. It would be JMO. Everybody else, I think, is consistently drafted. I feel comfortable about that.
Yeah, toss it out there at 5 then.
All right, to the listeners, check out the Spotify poll. Andrew,
what I was going to, yeah,
so bad.
Did you see Aaron Rodgers and who was the receiver?
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson. Okay,
Garrett Wilson
getting into it, man. And
Mitch, you see this?
No, but I'm looking it up.
Oh yeah.
I do my damnedest to not read or digest anything about Aaron Rodgers.
I know Rodgers is a veteran in the league, but like, come on, dog. You're skipping out on practices, and now you're going to get on your receivers. You didn't play all last season.
Yeah, Mitch. So I'll tell you this. It was Aaron Rodgers going to Garrett Wilson saying, man, you were supposed to zig and you zagged, or vice versa. It was one went the wrong way basically on a route. And Garrett responded with, hey, buddy, if you were here during minicamp, we would have had this shit ironed out, but you weren't here. So we haven't been able to work on it.
Spicy.
Yeah, very spicy. Drama in New York. You love to see it. You really do, especially when it's surrounding A-Rod. Gotta hate him.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. And are you surprised that he's like getting on his own teammates? And then the audacity for the media to say, or Devontae's agent to say that there's nothing behind the trade talks to New York. You think Devontae wants in Las Vegas now. But I think we all saw a receiver. He didn't want to be there last year. What's the difference now?
I'm gonna die here. That's what he kept saying. Like, he was legitimately, he was fed up, and he wasn't mincing any words about it, even in the confessionals. He was sounding off there. So very much not happy there, but also I think he loves Antonio Pierce, that head coach. So I think if Pierce wasn't there, if it was still that doofus's team, like, he would 100% not be a Raider. But I think the only thing pulling him back is AP, Antonio Pierce. So we'll see. But I think you're right, Andrew. Anytime somebody comes out and says like there's absolutely nothing going on, similar to I think it was the Texas A&M head coach for baseball, was like, he went off on a reporter after there were reports that he was going to go to UT Austin, and basically told the reporter that he was a piece of shit and that he didn't deserve to have a job. By the next morning, he was the head coach of the UT of the Texas Longhorns. So yeah, you anytime somebody's like that defensively going out against the rumors, it probably means it's true. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you get a Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams reunion.
Don't let it happen, NFL.
Speaking of
if you're listening.
Right? Super team. Speaking of which, transition us right into the NFL talk. We had the USA Today Sports. Andrew, you needed the source on this one. I can't remember who it was, but it was Nick or Nate, something. I think it was Nate, something from the USA Today here. They've released their projections. They've got the Lions finishing at 11-6 in second place. Boo to the Packers, who finished 13-4 in the North. And to your point, Andrew, about the Jets, they're 12-5 winning the AFC East. So y'all can see the graphic there. Yeah, interesting. I think the Lions as a 2 seed, well, not a 2 seed, but a 5 seed, second place in the North. I don't get the Packers hype at 13 wins. I just don't. I know that Jordan Love just got paid. I know that he's the prodigy out right now, but I don't see the Packers being a 13 win team. I think they'll be solid, but I don't see them winning 13 games.
If you needed to see anything on this graphic, it's the Vikings going 5-12 and finishing last in the division, as the Bears go 9-8. No shot the Vikings only win 5 games. Really, you think you got them going last in the division too? Are
you seeing the content out of the Vikings training camp?
Oh my God.
JJ's throwing pick six after pick six.
It's training camp. Let the guy work. He's got Josh Jacobs that'll eat up a lot of space. Nobody's wearing pads. Let him happen. Have you seen anything where he's rolled out of the pocket either? It's all pocket passing.
True.
Not what he's typically doing.
You got a point there. Let me pull up the graphic. Mitch, you've been awfully quiet. Any feelings here?
Yeah, I was just running through the Lions schedule. I know this is a future episode that we're going to do, but listen, they have a tough schedule. There's no doubt about it. We don't know what the Bears are going to be. The Packers are no slouches. Listen, I think if you split with the Bears, split with the Packers, they'll sweep the Vikings. They certainly should. You lose to the 49ers in Santa Clara. You lose to the Texans in Houston. It really only takes like one more game that they probably should win, and all of a sudden you're at 11 wins. So it's not crazy. It's not crazy. The Jordan Love hype is. Look, I don't understand it. I don't understand how he's the highest paid quarterback. He had one good year, not great, not phenomenal. One good year. I don't get it. Now listen, I think Jordan Love's a good quarterback. I think he's going to be solid for a long time, but I think to answer both things, I don't understand the Jordan Love hype, but I don't think 11-6 is like the most insulting thing of all time. I think it could happen. I wouldn't hate it, honestly. 11-6 should still get you in the playoffs, and then they go in and the Lions are, if nothing, are better than anyone in the league at playing the underdog card and running with it. I'd be fine with it.
I also do not understand that Jordan Love hype. I do understand the contract. It just kind of is what it is. Next man up, kind of in terms of the quarterback contract right now. And you drafted him with Aaron Rodgers on your team, knowing he was going to be the Aaron Rodgers replacement. So it's just like, it's been the long-term investment, right? So these guys obviously have seen enough from practices and how he carries himself that what are you going to do? Risk it on an unknown? You've had this guy in the building for 4 years.
Here's my thing with Jordan Love, though. Like, if you're so dead-eye dick certain that he's the guy, give him a 6-year contract. Give him a 6-year at $55 million a year, because by the time years 4, 5, and 6 roll around, he's probably at a discount. If you think he's going to be that good, why not? Lock him down. Do what the Chiefs did. That's the only thing that I kind of struggle. Like, Goff with a 4-year – Brad Holmes just like 4-year contract for you. That's Brad Holmes saying Goff is a different story. I don't get it from Jordan Love, though. Like, if you are that certain, do it for longer.
You have to have Jordan Love agree to that contract as well. I mean, he also,
obviously I'm being like,
you know what I mean?
He wants to bet on himself, take a 4-year deal, and think that he can get $70 million,
paid again,
$75 million a year here, 4 years or 3 years down the road, whatever they do, restructure. But I don't know. Maybe he would have taken a longer term deal. I mean, like Mitch alluded to, the Mahomes deal was like 10 years originally. Was a massive contract, but now
and everyone freaked out. And then it's like, no, look at the details, because the Mahomes took a discount.
Yeah. And now to shift to the Lions talk, now Goff's contract not looking so big. He's now the 5th highest quarterback, right? People just keep leapfrogging because the day before, or the same day of the Jordan Love 4-year, $220 million, Tua got paid something very similar, a little less. So it's just next man up, next man's higher. I mean, in the quarterback market, it's crazy. It just continues to balloon and grow. But as you said, Andrew, it is what it is. You kind of got to pay him. But 4-year, $220 million, that's a lot. That's a huge contract. That's massive. We'll see. We'll see what the years.
Gosh, I don't know. The Packers don't have like a slouch schedule either, though, to be honest. Obviously, I know that they're going to cross over and play some of those same teams, but I'm not upset about the 11-6 Lions. 13-4 Packers is egregious.
Yeah, they got the Eagles, the Colts, the Titans, the Vikings, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Texans, the Jags, the Lions.
I mean, I'm only to the bye, and I've got them loss against the Ravens, loss in Philly, loss against the Rams in Inglewood. loss against the Texans. I had them losing the home opener because it's. Oh, I'm sorry.
Ravens
That's
is
preseason.
Raven,
Preseasons. I'm so sorry.
preseasons.
Oh, make me eat my words.
I think they lose to the Rams.
I see. Yeah, I still think they lose to the Rams.
I think they drop 3 by the bye, which is
Well, I don't know. Yeah, no, I have the same thing. Eagles, Rams, Texans come out. You lose to the 49ers. There's your fourth. What's to say they're going to stop the Dolphins? You split with the Lions. So you lose in Detroit.
Yeah, that's actually pretty close because their second half is not bad. You got the Seahawks, the Saints, the Vikings, the Bears, the Lions.
I've got them at 11-6.
Yeah, that's probably where I'd put it. With the Dolphins game is kind of a toss-up for me. It's a Thursday night matchup. I don't know.
I have them basically splitting with the Lions and sweeping the Bears and the Vikings. So I'm being generous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk more about that on the big preview show when we talk.
I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
Lions.
Sorry.
Yeah, but it's training camp. It's the off season. That's what this is all about on the Lions Share podcast. Other NFL news: Brandon Ayuk apparently wanting to trade. Lions could use a receiver, but I don't think for the price that Ayuk wants. I don't think that happens. Be interesting to see. He hasn't been at training camp, nor has Trent Williams there for the 49ers. So, and then
I don't see that happening again. I feel like they did their experiment with a big personality guy with CD Deuce, and that fell flat on its face. I would be shocked if we saw another like me guy in the Lions locker room in the next few years.
Yeah, it's very delicate right now in the locker room with the Lions. You don't want to. You have almost all the pieces in place, so you don't want a bad apple, or even take a risk at one, especially with a diva wide receiver on a room that's pretty humble. I think maybe your biggest one is Jameson, obviously, but who's to say? You got to have some personality. It's just gonna happen, especially at the wide receiver position. Joe Burrow's hair.
That is the empty back or open back suit was a bit insane. The hair plays.
The
hair is shocking, but it hits hard.
Yeah,
it does hit very hard. The other thing, you see Mahomes and Xavier Worthy, the rookie.
Couple of highlights.
I don't know, man. To have that kind of connection, even in training camp. I mean, Xavier Worthy's been in the building for like a month, and they're already doing that. I don't know. I think there's a lot of hype about the wide receiver room there, but I don't know. I fear that the Kansas City Chiefs may be knocking at another Super Bowl this year, and it pains me to say that because they're getting to the dynasty level, and I don't want the Lions to have to go through that buzzsaw. But caveat, the Lions can beat anybody. We've said it before. This Lions team can beat anybody. Mano a mano, this team could beat anybody. Y'all see anything else from the NFL training camp? Is there stuff I missed? Probably.
When it comes to training camp, I see the big stuff and the Lions stuff. That's about it.
Yeah.
What was up with there was a lineman out of New Orleans, something with an injury, and they designated him on some injury list, and now he has to sit the entire season or something like that. I don't know. Did you guys see that? I think it was their starting left guard. He was hurt last year, and they put him on the injured reserve list, and then he sat on it for so long that they had to make a decision, and whatever it was, now he has to sit the entire season again.
That's pretty trucked up.
That's mess, dude.
I see a D end, Trajan Jeffcoat, but you were saying on offensive, like a left guard.
Yeah.
Well, he also the details seemed vague, so
yeah.
As they always do.
Well, you're looking that up, Ben. I threw this in at the last minute because I was hopeful that the Lions would release more tickets as we got closer to the season. Ticket prices still absolutely absurd. I looked it up to get I put the picture in there so you guys can see it, like kind of a corner seat, lower bowl, but nothing insane. It's like in the row 30 or so, I believe. 2 tickets, $881 to see the Titans. It's crazy.
Fees. Wow. I like how there's
Ryan Ramchick.
$4. Ryan Ramchick?
Ryan Ramchick.
What did you say the first time? What did you say the first time, Andrew?
Ramchick?
What did you say the first time? I could have swore you said Ramchick.
Same thing.
I might have heard that.
That would have been crazy. My brain might have done that.
Well, I could watch.
Yeah, they put him on the pup listing. He'll miss the entirety of the year. Sorry, I'm done now.
Don't be done.
Yeah.
Meh.
He's out for the year. Right tackle, not left guard. Right tackle.
Apologies.
Or did I have that wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Ticket price is not cool. That's not good. That's the power of being good, as you said before, Mitch. But hey, we've got preseason football coming up here. Lions versus who do the Lions have first? They play the Giants first, I believe, right? Giants, Chiefs, Steelers in this preseason. August 8th. That's your first day. We will not have an episode following the first preseason game because 2 of us will not be in our respective states. The kickball champ and I will be in different states. We will be gone. We will be sure to check on the Lions versus the Giants. But, not a lot we can glean from the preseason anyway. So I don't think we'll have a ton to recap besides probably the Hendon Hooker and the Bates situation, the kicker, and Hendon. That's going to be your biggest storylines. I want to say probably some other defensive, offensive guys shining or not shining, the opposite of whatever shining is. And but we know with the MO that Dan and this team have, we're not going to see the starters, or at least a majority of them, and certainly at the key positions at least. And that will probably be the case throughout the preseason. Maybe by preseason game 3 against the Steelers, but I doubt it. So we kind of know what that's going to happen. So no show after the next preseason. Our next show is actually a ways out, August 18th. We'll recap preseason games 1 and 2, and we will preview preseason game 3. And then following that, we'll have a recap of game 3, as well as the big prediction show prior to week 1. We'll probably try to get the college football expert on to talk a little college football, because, of course, that's going to start before the NFL does, and we'll get a little action there too. So, yeah, that's the schedule. Andrew, I think you said you might have something here. You had your hand up.
Nope. Just saying hi.
I don't think that's what you were saying, but I saw it out of the corner of my eye. That's on me. Happy early birthday to the 3rd member of the show, Mr. Fort Wayne, the father himself. It is Leo season, so he's got a birthday coming up. And shout out to the Lady Lion 3, my Lady Lion, that is, and her upcoming birthday as well. We'll miss those birthdays, and we'll recap them on next episode. Mitch, do you have anything planned for the birthday?
No, and hopefully it stays like that. I would love to just do nothing at all and just fetch. I think it's a Monday, if my calendar knowledge serves me correctly. So I'm just kind of be working, be chilling out. Maybe I'll get a little naughty and we'll get some ice cream or something, but nothing crazy.
We love it. We love a low.
We've got Andrew doing a slow motion celebration for the ice cream.
Mr. Falling Up himself.
The things we'll do for cream.
and that's our show, folks. See you later. No, I'm kidding. Well, it is pretty much our show, though. We are in closing time. And I said this before at the top of the show. It's fitting because it is the season of the Leo. And here we are talking the Lions. It is the Lions season. This is the season. According to 82% of you, this is the year for the Lions. and I think they're right. We're going to ask you to like this episode on YouTube, like it on any other of those other platforms. Click the follow button on whatever platform you listen to us on or watch us on. Subscribe, like, rate 5 stars, write a review, tell a friend, tell your parents, tell anybody that'll listen about this here podcast if you liked it. And if you didn't, you can leave. And follow us on TikTok because we're gaining some traction on the TikTok. And we'll try to be more consistent on the social medias.
Is that a thing? Are we really?
Yeah.
I try not to do anything like illegal that's, helping another country out. So seems like it's going to be banned soon anyways.
TBD on that. Yeah. We'll see.
All right.
Safety concerns aside. We've got Hard Knocks with the Bears coming out in like a week, I think. A week or 10 days. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to watch out of spite because I feel like what's going to happen is the hype train for Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze is going to just get disgusting so fast. 100%. As well as what's his name? DJ Moore. DJ, who's the wide receiver there? Came from the
Moore. Well, and Keenan Allen. They have DJ Moore and Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen too. God damn it! I forgot about that. That's gonna hurt. But we'll see. Andrew, last thing going to you here. What's the update on the kickball situation? How we looking?
We had a big game last week. Had a 2-run lead going into the last half inning. Gave it up. Tie game is what we ended on. So we went to a kickoff.
Oh.
And Isaac, our boy, had a bomb. Booted that bad boy. And that's the tiebreaker. Whoever kicks the ball the farthest.
How do they measure that?
They brought out the tape, dude. The 100-foot tape, 100 feet at a time. Measure that bad boy off from home field. If your ball goes foul, that's it. You lose.
Disqualified. DQ. That's a DQ.
Yep. So we won that one. That was a nail biter. We got another 8 o'clock game this week. I'm going to have to talk to somebody about these 8 o'clock games.
Is that tomorrow under the lights?
Do you think we get lights, pal? You're hilarious.
You kicked them all out because you hit home runs?
Well, they're damaged. Probably the little leaguers, honestly, though. They're really getting hold of them. They're cranking those things.
That's crazy, though, that you don't play under lights yet. That at that hour? Doesn't the sun set at 9?
I'm yawning on the bench at about the 4th inning.
For a working man such as yourself. That's
Seashell.
That's a tough turnaround. That's a tough turnaround. Plus a podcaster. You're doing it all, my man.
A lot of caps.
Is this the last week?
No, this goes through August as well.
The whole month of August.
8 weeks, dog.
Oh, wow. Okay, so wait, what are you going to do when you go to, I don't know if you want me to leak where you're going, but on your little trippy trip?
I'll be back Monday night. I might tell them I'm not going to show up, but I don't know what they'll do without me, so I'm sure they'll beg me to make that appearance.
Oh, yeah. No doubter. No doubter. All right, well, shareholders, we love you. Come back next time, please. And Andrew's got one more thing.
I do have one shameless plug here. Do have a buddy in the office. He's got a new tabletop dice game. He's got his Kickstarter releasing August 1st called Auto Dungeon. If you guys, it's pretty family friendly, pretty quick, pretty easy game to learn, pick up. Not much to it. Take a look at it. Check out the Kickstarter August 1st. I don't know what else to say about it.
You got a link?
I do.
Bring this up on the next one too. Put this in your file. This away in the brain there.
Might be too late.
Mitch, it's already on BoardGameGeek.com.
Wow.
There you go. Auto Dungeon. It's got the Kickstarter. August.
Auto-Dungeon, just for the folks at home. Auto-Dungeon.
Thank you.
Oh wow, 9.6 out of 10.
It's a good rating.
It's a fun game, man. He made it himself. It's fun.
Oh, so you've played it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Are you good? Or are you like as good as you are at kickball?
I don't know if you put the right... Is that the right game? Let me take a peek. Let me make sure this is the right game.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, that's it. Yep, that's it.
Thank you, Ben.
It's a team-based game. Team-based game.
Monster. If at any point all heroes have 0 health, the game is over and you have lost.
Yeah.
Right,
Wow.
Yeah, I'm in on this. Let's play. We should do this.
On the next episode.
Shout out Travis.
Travis. Yep. Might not dox him. Don't want to dox him there. Fun game though. Check it out. I think we lost El Jefe.
Oh no. I think you just have to meow.
No.
I feel like
he fell off a building.
I feel like he's going to be so irritated that he fell off the end and we would have been done if we weren't talking about Auto Dungeon.
Auto Dungeon strikes again, and there he goes. Oh, we lost the leader.
Oh my god.
Do we have anything else on the list?
He's had the optional for later episodes on there for so long, and we're never going to get to him.
Yeah, the little W is still aggressive. I feel like one of us should have taken the spokesman.
Oh, he said don't leave. No, just the clunkiest episode of all time with us pointing at each other, and then you say something. I think you just have to meow.
I think we need Tommy back. We should never have fired Tommy.